This week's icon is located in the west nave bulkhead space. It's visible as we are leaving the main area of the church and before we step into the new addition area. It's not of a saint. It's an icon of a toddler sleeping. It's a kind of an odd icon at first glance, and if we don't know who this toddler is, we might easily pass this icon by week after week. The odd icon of a toddler is peculiar also because of the title inscribed along the top of it. The icon's title is "He Who Does Not Sleep." It's right there. So who exactly is this sleeping toddler with the title "He Who Does Not Sleep"? Without drawing out the suspense too long, the toddler is none other than Jesus Christ. Knowing that this sleeping toddler is Jesus offers the opportunity to expand our minds and hearts to receive quite a few beautiful lessons. For example, there is a lesson to be had regarding the fear of God. We hear about the fear of God every time we come to communion. The deacon or priest says, "With the fear of God, with faith and love draw near." The "He Who Does Not Sleep" helps us to understand this proclamation and to understand the fear of God in general, because it helps us to understand the very important difference between God who is to be feared and the fear of God. Maybe a simple way to explain the difference is to replace the word fear with the word awe. Awe is something we tend to comprehend a bit more easily. We have been in awe of a sunset. We have been in awe of a newborn baby. We have been in awe of the ocean. We have been in awe of the love of someone near and dear. We've been in awe of astronomy. We've been in awe of a walk in the woods. Or we've been in awe at the recovery of an illness, in awe of architectural marvel or a song or a painting. Or we're in awe of a mountain. The awe-filled moments of our lives are stepping stones that free us from our ungrounded and out-of-whack fear of God. Awe helps us to make headway towards receiving all the goodness that God has for us. The "He Who Does Not Sleep" icon is one of the best icons for teaching about awe versus fear. Because when we ponder awe versus fear, our silly, false, afraid of God notions are turned inside out and upside down. When we gaze at the "He Who Does Not Sleep" icon, we will see a sleeping toddler whose eyes are shut, whose body is relaxed, and who's reclining peacefully, free from anxiety. If we compare this to our usual opinions of God, we will begin to see how out of place our old notions tend to be. Our old notions being things like, God is nowhere to be found, He doesn't care, God is judging me and ready to punish me, God is keeping a tally. So thoughts like this can be very frightening, but a sleeping toddler? A sleeping toddler simply is not frightening. When we measure our opinions about God and fear of God against what we see in the "He Who Does Not Sleep," we are bound to learn something new. As well as providing a lesson that compares fear and awe, this icon also teaches about death. The lesson is the reason that this icon is actually located here in this particular space in the west wall of a church, as it is in many churches, not just our church. The west wall is the wall that we face when we're leaving the church, when we're departing the church. And this icon teaches us a lesson about departing. Not just regular departing, but ultimate departing. In other words, death. As Christians, we're always making reference to ultimate departure or death as falling asleep. In fact, today's feast is called the falling asleep of the Theotokos, not the death of the Theotokos. And this icon's title, very intentionally, has the word sleep in it. To begin to understand this powerful aspect of this image, it's good to start with thinking about how God the Father in heaven does not sleep. Yet God became man fully in the person of Jesus Christ, and Jesus slept. In becoming a man, this man, although fully God, who does not sleep, slept. This is a mind-boggling mystery. It shows us the depths to which God goes in order to reach us. He will even become a vulnerable little child. So if the infinite God who does not sleep is sleeping, he must have power and control over sleep. With this understanding, the icon reveals the message that God is in charge. He's in charge over sleep, and as God, he is in charge over ultimate sleep, which is death. God is in charge over life and death. This icon becomes an assurance and a comfort of God's will, his love, and his promises to us that he will take care of us in our deaths in the same way that he takes care of a vulnerable, innocent, sleeping child. We don't know when death, the final departure, will come for any of us, but we're given the message over and over again that God is in charge over life and death. We get this message throughout our church. We get it in this icon, but also through the church's songs and words and poetry. In all of the expressions of our church's worship, we get the message that God has taken care of things, and that when death does come, we will be okay. Our church loves us so much that as any liturgy or any service concludes, we will be reminded, even one last time, via the icon of he who does not sleep, that God is in control. He has power over sleep and death. It's right over the exit, saying that our deaths, like the death of the Theotokos, or the falling asleep of the Theotokos, will merely be sleep. This is a loving message from a powerful icon. It is an icon that removes false fear and replaces it with awe. In this icon, God has nap time. And pondering God's nap time leads us to the same awe-filled conclusion that St. John Chrysostom got to when he said, "Death, where is thy sting?" Amen.